What is the most intense pain you have experienced in your life? The pain from acute pupillitis toothache. I'm a dentist, and I wanted to experience this pain. I wanted to feel it, so I can feel how my patients feel. However, I initiated it, and it was the worst pain ever. I couldn't stand it. I immediately went to another dentist for treatment. I was misdiagnosed from ovarian cancer for about 10 months while dealing with occasional abdominal pain. Multiple doctors never did a scan. I was 25. One morning, I cooked myself grits and eggs while the pain level suddenly increased over 1-2 hours. It was so painful that I hunched over when walking. After I ate 2-3 bites of my breakfast, I had the immediate urge to vomit. I started to crawl 15 feet to the bathroom when I couldn't crawl anymore. I was stuck hunched over while sitting 3 feet from the toilet. I vomited all over my carpet right next to the bathroom door, and I couldn't move an inch. I called an ambulance, got to the hospital in excruciating pain. Had emergency surgery for a volleyball-sized ruptured tumor. I even passed out in the ambulance. I was bloated for about 2 weeks beforehand, but had no idea it was cancer. I also couldn't eat grits for a year because of that traumatic morning. Natural childbirth. Watching my late wife take her last breath. Kidney stone. Breaking some of my ribs. I posted this before. For several weeks I couldn't walk, sit, or stand without great pain. I couldn't lift my arms over my shoulders. I couldn't turn over in bed what position I made it, and I was stuck for the night, and I nearly lost my voice. I couldn't shout at all, and my normal speaking voice sounded like I had laryngitis. Not fun at all. The pain I feel in my lower spine and my neck every day. The discs are all fucked up and they won't fix it a third time so far. They might set it up to be fixed tomorrow, but if not, I'm dying instead. Unfortunately, it isn't what I wanted. But if I'm not going to be able to work and try to have a normal life, then I don't want a life at all, really. I got hit in the eye with a rock during a field op. It got infected and I had to get to a hospital. That's the most intense pain I've felt in a short amount of time. After an enthusiastic yoga session, I got a massage and moved some furniture. Totally not a big deal, until I realized I'd set myself up to tear a major section of my lower back. I hit the ground and couldn't move or even call for help. That lasted about 30 hours, and then I crawled to my phone and called EMTs. It's been about a year, and I'm still slowed by it. I once had an infection inside my wisdom tooth. That was the worst pain I've experienced. Painkillers didn't touch it, and just breathing was agony. I spent 2 days awake before I could get it removed. Having had my jaw sewn shut after reconstructive jaw surgery. While I was trying to sleep, I swallowed a good amount of blood. Since having my teeth sewn shut, I woke up in the middle of the night feeling the urge to vomit. I stood over the toilet and had a good amount of vomit come to a screeching halt at my teeth. Hurt pretty bad. Had the blood dribble out the cracks in my teeth, blood all over the toilet, and in excruciating pain. I felt bad for whoever had to clean it up. But the nurse quickly shot me up with some morphine or whatever pain meds they give you, and it quickly subsided. Testicular torsion. Like a horse kicking your balls every minute. When I got third-degree burns, there was a period of time where the nerves had regrown, but the wound hadn't closed up yet, and I had to wash and rebandage it every morning. It was awful. My morning ritual involved a leather belt I kept in the bathroom for biting down on while I was irrigating the wound. Running hot water over exposed nerves is fucked up. IUD insertion. Horrible. Gallstones. I thought I had gas but wanted to die. Worst for in the moment intensity. My third kidney stone. It was only 1 mm, so smaller than my previous 7 mm one, but for some reason this one caused more intense pain at 2:30 a.m., to the point I was screaming, vomiting, and panicking. Worst for overall drawn-out pain. Gallbladder failure. It took about 12 months to diagnose the biliary dyskinesia. In that time I'd have pain in my abdomen after every meal. I developed regular panic attacks, couldn't lift anything, developed depression, basically fell apart. All because my biliary ducts got a little inflamed and my gallbladder couldn't empty well. This was also the disease that showed me how wonderful of a caretaker my wife is. Worst emotional pain. My wife's miscarriage. That would be her worst physical pain. But for both of us it was after years of trying, learning about her infertility issues, finally getting pregnant, then weeks of emotional agony watching the subchorionic hematoma slowly grow and choke the baby's twins' blood supply. My wife got pregnant again a few months later and our daughter is a little over 1. Epididymitis. Do not recommend. Gallstones trying to move through a tiny space that wasn't big enough for them. Gout. Oh man. Stung by a velvet wasp, also known as a cow killer. As a child thought it was just a hairy ant and tried to pick it up. Stung my hand and I couldn't move my arm for what seemed hours, but probably was a few minutes. I don't pick them up anymore. When I was younger, I rarely drank water. That means that my stools were quite rock hard. Let's just say that there were times I tried to avoid going number 2 because it literally felt like my asshole was being tore apart.